Alright, so it's the 18th of April 2019. The day before we are about to head off on our most westerly point of Australia to the most easterly point of Australia trek, being Steep Point through to Byron Bay. Tomorrow we leave, which is Good Friday. We are getting taken up to the Overlander Roadhouse from my mate's dad, who's going to drop us off with the bikes in a trailer. It's currently me, my brother Andrew, and my mate Chris doing this trip. So just thought I'd put together a little bit of a video on the trip, and yeah, so a little bit about the trip. About 15 months ago, we were sitting in a bar, Chris and I, we decided to do this trip. Andrew was obviously keen, being a keen rider, so yeah. So basically, I'm just going to run through pretty much what we're taking with us, how we're packing it, a bit about the bikes, and the route we're taking. So I've pretty much got everything spread out on the table here in front of me that I've got to somehow manage to pack into a couple of panniers and a bag, a top bag. So yeah, if you have a look, there's actually quite a bit of stuff. So we're going to be quite loaded up, but it's an unsupported ride, so we don't really have much choice. We don't have the luxury of having a four-wheel drive following us or anything like that. So I'll get into the route first and let you know the route we're taking and pretty much how long it'll take. So this is the plan anyway, and we'll see how we go. It might change on the route, as there's been a few road closures and a bit of rain, but yeah. All right, basically, so I've got the map out here, and I've got the route that we're actually taking drawn out on the map. So yeah, I'll show you what we're doing, what we're planning. Basically, we're in Perth at the moment. Let me just see if I can. So basically, tomorrow morning we're going to leave at about 5 in the morning, head up through Geraldton up to the Overlander Roadhouse, where Chris's dad will then turn around and head back to Geraldton. So we will then ride out from the Overlander Roadhouse out to Steep Point, which is obviously the most westerly point of the mainland Australia. So the next day, Saturday, we'll camp there the night. Saturday we'll then get up, ride back to the Overlander, and we'll actually ride the whole way through on Saturday through to Murchison. Spend the night in Murchison. It's going to be a mixture of camping and donga type accommodation, depending how we feel, and sometimes you may not be able to want to set up your campsite, and so you might just choose a donga instead. So from Murchison, the next day we then head down through Mount Magnet out to Sandstone. So Sandstone will be the next stop. Once again, we don't know whether we'll camp or whether or not we'll get a donga or a hotel room or motel room at the pub, depending what's available and how we feel. From Sandstone, we then head across to this is wrong. From Sandstone, we actually then head down through Leonora, and then from Leonora head up to Laverton. Now we'll stay in Laverton the night, and yeah, have a good have a good feed and a good sleep, because the next few days is actually going to be quite big. From Laverton, we're not actually heading up through the Great Central Road. From Laverton, we're going to head along the Ann-Biddell Highway. The next stop is actually Neil Junction. That's where we're planning to have our next stop, which is, I think it's about 350 or 450 k's. I can't remember off the top of my head. So yeah, that's along the Ann-Biddell. Now the reason we've got this highlighted is we plan to come along the Ann-Biddell all the way to Coober Pedy, but they actually closed the Woomera missile range. So they closed that after we had planned this. So we actually wrote this in to go around, and we were actually going to come around through the Olgas, through Ayers Rock, and then down through Fink to Mount Dare and meet up where we were going to before at Mount Dare and continue on our way. However, they've since reopened this, and we're not actually going to go this way anymore. We figure we can do that anytime really, and we would like to do the whole Ann-Biddell, mainly because of its remoteness, and it's a lot more suited to what we want. Tighter roads, not open gravel roads, and it's from Ann-Biddell, from Laverton through to Coober Pedy. It's about 1,400 kilometres, I think, from memory, with one fuel stop in between. So that's Ilkirka Roadhouse, right in the centre, which is pretty much just a tin shack with some, obviously some fuel and a few groceries and bits and pieces. So the first night's out to Neil Junction. We're going to have to carry fuel bladders, mainly because obviously the great distances. I won't have to carry quite as much in bladders as Andrew and Chris. I have a bigger tank on the DR, but yeah. So Ilkirka Roadhouse. That's during the second day on the Ann-Biddell Highway, and then we'll stay somewhere around Vokes Hill, I think it is. Yeah, Vokes Hill. Then through to Coober Pedy. Stay the night in Coober Pedy. From Coober Pedy up to Mount Dare. Stay the night in Mount Dare. We would have liked to have had a day off at Mount Dare before the Simpson, but it wasn't. I don't think we're going to have the time, unfortunately. Mount Dare, we will go through the Simpson, spend a night on the Simpson. Hopefully we can do the Simpson in 2 full days. That's the plan. We were just going to camp somewhere along the Simpson. And then up to Popple Corner, and then through to Birdsville. Spend the night in Birdsville, and then the next day down through Inaminka and the Dig Tree. Stay at the Dig Tree. That was the original route, but now we've decided we're going to come down through here. Apparently the riding's a bit better down through here. Now, there has been a lot of rain from an ex-tropical cyclone, which has come down through into Lake Eyre. These roads have been closed. I think they've reopened now. So yeah, anyway. So from the Dig Tree, we just head slowly east pretty much through Nokatunga, and then down through Cunnamulla, then through St George, and obviously it gets more bitumised the further east we go. So yeah, my dad's currently over there heading his way across on the bitumen on his road bike. So he's going to meet us somewhere in Warwick or somewhere around here. We haven't actually written it on here where we're going to go, but we're going to end up down here in Byron Bay. So that's the proposed route. Obviously things change on the way, wrong way. But that's the way that we think we're going to go, and hopefully it all works out. So a bit about the bikes. So yeah, we'll go into a bit of detail there. Okay, a bit about the bikes. Firstly, with Chris is on a 2006 KTM 525 with bigger tank, heavier suspension, and a few bits and pieces done to it. Andrew, my brother, is on an XR 650 2003 model
Once again, bigger tank, pannier bags, and just the rest of it, a few bits and pieces done to it. He's running pannier bags and a loop bag. Chris is running just a loop bag and I think maybe another top bag. So I'm actually doing it on a 2012 DR650, which is the bike that you can see behind me. A bit about the bike. I bought the bike 2013 with 700 kilometres on it. Pretty stock, pretty much had nothing on it. So the bike itself, what have I done to it? I've had the suspension done, upgraded for this trip by Joondalup Motorcycles up in Joondalup, Steve Moritz. Did a very good job of it. So pretty much from the start, I've got this front bag. I don't know whether or not I'll be taking it. Yeah, I'm yet to decide on that. Obviously the windscreen, fork brace, I was hoping it might help it in the sand a little bit, but it doesn't really matter what you do to these bikes. They're heavy pigs in the sand. I don't think it made a huge amount of difference. Tyres, I'm running MT21 on front and rear. I wanted to run D606, but at the last minute I couldn't get my hands on any D606s, so MT21 it is. So, Safari tank, 30 litre Safari tank, which is actually expanded to hold 36 litres. So, yeah, that's, I only need to take 2 fuel bladders. So I've got 2 10 litre, or a 10 litre and a 7 litre fuel bladder, which will take me up to 53 litres, which should be sufficient. The bike has I've put a TM40 carby on it. I've done the airbox mod to it, cut out the airbox, just plates, B&B plates. I've got the B&B luggage racks, and I've got a Barrett pannier racks and Barrett bags. Now, obviously new sprockets, new brake pads, new chain for this trip. Throttle assist, there's not a huge amount. Corbin seats, which has been quite a good seat. FMF muffler. Now this bike's actually had a little bit of a hard life. Before it actually got its first service, a mate of mine was actually riding it, and the sump plug actually rattled out. Now he's going to go around the corner. Luckily it was at the end of the ride. He's going to go around the corner, and obviously the rear wheel is covered in oil and it's come out on him. He's ridden at home, and it wasn't until later we figured out that the sump plug had actually rattled out. Now we dodged a bullet with that one. There was no engine damage. So secondly, it's also had some new timing chain put in it, which was my fault. Pretty much what happened was I got a Warp 9 when I got my TM40 carby. I got my Warp 9 starter end cap, because this thing had the dreaded rooster in the actual in the start every time you started it. So I thought I'd replace the end cap. Now I pulled the timing cam chain tensioner out of it, did it all, not a problem. Put it back in, thinking that the cam chain was actually the tensioner was actually a spring-loaded one, but it's not. You have to actually wind it in with a screwdriver when you're putting it back in. I didn't know that. Silly me. So I put it all back together. Got about 8 k's down the road and snapped. Timing chain wore through all the guides and snapped the timing chain. So the piston come up, hit the exhaust valves. I actually dodged a bit of a bullet there, didn't do too much damage. There was a slight mark on the piston where the exhaust valves were. And yeah, so I've pulled it all apart, replaced the two exhaust valves, new timing chain obviously, and lapped the valves and all the bits and pieces and put it all back together, and it's done 6,000 k's since then. So yeah, it all seems to be good, but the poor DR's been through a little bit. Yeah, so pretty much that's about all of it. Gearing, I'm running a 1543 These come standard 1541. I've just decided, because we're not doing too much high speed work, and because we're going through the bit of sandy, that I wouldn't mind a bit more bottom end. So I've put a 43 on the back. Yeah, apart from that, there's not really much else to this bike. Yeah, we're going to run a spot tracker. We're just running HEMA maps through our phones, which I've done quite a few times before, and never had any problems. So yeah, this is my tool box, stuffed with tools and rags, and obviously water, 7.6 litres in the rotor packs, and 3 litres in a Camelback, so 10.5 litres. We're only ever going to be away from water for a couple of days, so I'm thinking that should be plenty. 1-inch bar risers, and that's pretty much it for the bike. Yeah, there's not really much I can say, so yeah, onto the luggage. Alright, so the luggage. This is basically what's on top is what I need to pack in, minus clothes. I haven't put any clothes on the top here. The clothes are obviously, my plan is the clothes will go in this top bag, and my camping stuff and motorbike stuff will go in the pannier bags on the side. So basically what we've got, I've got a Leatherman, headlamp, fly net, tent, chair. I don't know about the chair. I might leave the chair behind, mainly because I've got the centre stand. I've put the centre stand on the bike so I can kind of sit on the bike, and the chair takes up probably a little bit too much room. So anyway, tow rope for when I've got to tow the KTM out of the Simpson. I'm sure Chris will love hearing that. Now that I've said that, it'll be Chris towing me out of the Simpson. Tyre puncture repair kit, clutch cable. Still don't know whether I'll take the clutch cable. What have we got in here? We've got a few nuts and bolts, some air filter oil, chain, bearings, wheel bearings, some hose clamps, 2 front 21-inch tyre, memory length, tubes, earplugs, a couple of inline fuel filters. These are the bladders. These are liquid containment Jerryflex bladders. And also the bike's actually running 4mm ultra heavy duty tubes, so I'm hoping that we shouldn't have to use these tubes. So basically, what else? We've got some chain lube, some hydration powder for your water, toiletries bag, nothing major, some sun cream, some Aerogard, a lot of anti-inflammatories, because we're getting quite old now and things start to hurt very quickly. Just a bit of food, coffee, cups of soup, just, yeah, you never know. Trangia for the cooking, cup, the Trangia's got the cutlery with it. Methylated spirits is for the Trangia. So we've got a sleeping bag, a bed, which is a Sinmat 9 LW, long and wide. Got a Black Wolf pillow, inflatable pillow, a backpack with my Camelback in it, and these are just freeze-dried food. So we're going to try and eat in pubs or roadhouses whenever we can, just to try and limit what we need to take, because obviously the stuff takes up a lot of room, and because we're unsupported, we've got to carry everything we need. So, and to be honest, I'd rather be eating steak and chips than a freeze-dried packet of food. So yeah, that's pretty much everything, apart from clothes, obviously. So like I said, we're heading off at 5 in the morning, and yeah, that should put us in Geraldton by 10, and then hopefully at the Overlander by about 1 o'clock. That gives us 5 hours to ride out to the point, and I think it's pretty boggy, so it might take us a while. The DR's not the most nimble bike, in the sand. So there'll be a lot of swearing and whatnot going on. Yeah, and one thing I haven't put down here is beers. We're going to carry beers where we can, because even room temperature beer is better than no beer. So that'll be in the pack as well.